dissertation or planning to do one, to look at the intersections of the work of non-governmental organizations and how much that has enriched, or better yet, discovered new areas of understandings of human rights not originally contemplated. And that will be the last portion of my summary. I'll just give you 4 thematic areas. One would be between time and space, and I've already started to talk about that. The second would be metaphorically between the flood and the rainbow, and I'll tell you more about that later. The third would be between discourse and recourse. And the fourth simply will be between multilateralism and unilateralism. Whose project is it anyway? Declaration of Human Rights is a distillation of both discourse and praxis. And that we refer to it as the Magna Carta of Rights must not discount those antecedent documents. And therefore, if we do that, then we have a better appreciation for why else must we write and enact new ones, new treaties, new laws, new conventions, new mechanisms to make the dream of morality. Though we reserve that to theologians, to religionists, etc. So they started to reduce a rich, comprehensive notion called human rights and reduced its fundamental, original, full conception called human dignity as the foundation. And they say, we don't want to touch that. So my challenge for you would be to look into the triad of human rights, human dignity, and the human rights struggle itself. The struggle being that momentum by which we are able to inscribe new texts, to enact new rights. The inability or the inadequacy of the nation state in renegotiating the terms of human rights. The other challenge, I believe, is that the sources of power, or rather, where power is generated, is the concern of the is something that is important for us to consider, especially in the many assertions that we've made. And I'll mention one assertion: the nexus between human rights and development, on the whole notion of religious rights. And the number one I always remind our people is to say that religion and religious rights are no higher than any other right. And that's important in the conception of women's rights itself, that women's rights are not any higher than any other. For that matter, there is no hierarchy of rights. But that is more, but that remains for all of us to keep asserting. Because when one right trumps another, that itself threatens the foundation of human rights.
Thank you very much for coming, and I hope that we see many of you at another event.
I knew I was going to forget something. Because you don't live in New York, you did not have the copy of this issue. Some of you saw it?
That's a fake.
It's a spoof.
It's a fake.
Of New York Times. But interesting is the people who produced this, they started to prefigure.
Talking about human rights, we can now celebrate the 60 years of Congo. The city of Vienna has also had the graciousness to send us a speaker, a lady who is a member of the town council, that her message will be interesting and mostly welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. The Conference of NGOs, on behalf of the Governor and Mayor, Dr. Michael Häufl, has made that the unity of state organizations and for every single human being. And I would like to quote the French writer, comedist, actor Molière. In this regard, who said, but there is still way to go. Let us collectively continue to support and advance the compliance with the Declaration of Human Rights. The city of Vienna and its representatives represent reliable partners for the United Nations in fighting for human rights, for justice and equal opportunities. You can count on us. Our city does believe in that each Viennese must be able to live independently with the children is also an inevitable part of the activities of the city of Vienna. I'm very proud of the extensive network of closely cooperating institutions that focus both on acute care and psychological assistance for victims of violence and on providing information, counseling and awareness-building measures.
Status with the United Nations, it takes time. And then the host does not understand who you are. So once, I said, okay, I am Marek Hagmaier, I am president of Congo. And the fellow looked at me and said, oh my God, I thought that they have already got rid of remnants of colonialism. Vienna people did not exist. And I am proud that it was during my time that for the first time the board of Congo met in Vienna. And I gently insisted that Vienna people should be recognized at the same level as Geneva people and New York people. The presidency of
that I think thanks should not only go to Fritz and myself. I owe my let's say, successes, and some not successes, as the Congo Vice President, to a lot of people.